Hello and welcome to the Horror House Podcast. I'm Dave.
I'm Chris,
I'm Jeff.
and welcome. We are three guys that like to talk
Together
about
we are
horror.
wild stallions. Jeff, no air guitar, Jeff? Come on, man.
Oh,
I'll do this forever. Anyways, welcome everybody. This week we are talking about a little. We're headed back actually to one of my favorite times in horror, which is the '80s. To talk about a Stephen King adaptation, Pet Sematary. Woo! We've never done that before. It just makes sense.
The same year as our last show, The Burbs, 1989.
Yes.
Into the 80s were a wacky time for horror.
I think that just the '80s in general were just great.
It was all over the place, which was very creative, very all over the place. Hey, today, kind of like today, we got all kinds of stuff. I mean, all levels of horror, good, bad, are all over the place. Return of the slashers in the last couple of years, last year, this year, especially. But I think we're in a good place, guys.
Here are our
I think
socials
this horror
if
thing's
anybody
going
wants to hit these.
around. Oh yeah, you want to hit that?
We gave
Is that
consent.
too far?
So no, because we
Is
gave
that
consent. Here they are. Use them. To exit.
yeah,
Exit and slash it.
yeah, like it.
So get in there.
Didn't like it.
Get in there and do that
Comment.
shit. Let's talk
comment.
about.
What's my name?
Dave. What's that? That was an easy question. That was like a really easy question.
Well, I mean,
but
you made me chug a little B.O.B. Burial Barton right before we went on, so I forgot for
this is true.
momentarily. So
I'm still riding high off old Crow. And I mean that my face is still a little bit scrunched and I still feel a little bit of pain. But that's all right. That's what we're here for. I just say things sometimes and just hope they make sense. It looks like Jeff just had a swig of not great tasting stuff.
oh, it's good. It's strong. Black Phillip, blood orange and cranberry hard cider. It's a lot better than the what was that called? The Starcut Ciders Aurora Borealis. That's really strong.
It's a cool name, anyways.
Yeah.
Other than my whiskey,
I have got drinking the whole universe.
I have got peach White Claws. And also a watermelon that I shouldn't open for a couple minutes. Anyways, fellas, we're back after it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since we have sat here in the horror house. So we I gotta relearn what the buttons are.
Went to bed on time on a Thursday night.
It's insane.
Still drunk though. I'm just joshing. No offense.
I actually did not.
I didn't either. I may have been sweating my ass off. Then I forget if we didn't have power in Texas on Wednesday night or Thursday. No, it was Wednesday night, and that was terrible. That was awful.
I'm ditching the props.
Oh,
sorry, guys.
You were looking like Bigfoot, Bigly.
That boy's got a sweat.
But you get that, you got a tight haircut. Mine's a little bit longer, so when you wear the headphones, then you take them off after you've been sweating for a while, you get that cool circle around your ears that makes you feel so cool.
Right?
It's the reverse Princess Leia. Like everything else is pushed out. And
you take them off and you feel, relief.
The reverse Princess Leia is the perfect way to describe it. The perfect way.
Guys, you know what the rabble come here for? Rabble come on here for the news.
Star Wars news?
Star Wars news?
Star Wars news. Or Star Wars nudes. I was about to share my nude fanfic about the Gamorrean guards. I'll give you that one, Chris. That was appropriate.
I didn't use it at all in the Burbs, so
Yeah.
I've got some making up to do. Plus no show last week. I mean, I gotta get back in there. I got a quota to meet.
The Burbs is really tame. That's a tame episode.
It was the best one ever.
It was.
Maybe ever. No. One of them. All of them are pretty much equal in their greatness, beginning to end. So
like
you should go listen to
like,
them.
You gotta love all your children equally.
Yeah, but the one named RoboCop is my favorite.
I'm pretty partial to They Live, We Drink, and 13 Ghosts.
I listen. 13 Ghosts may be one of our children, but if I never thought about it again, I'd be all right with that.
That night was like a child that has gone into rehab over and over and over. You just stuck with them until they succeeded.
It was like building Legos with
Chris.
audio. This goes here, and then you got to listen because then stuff repeats, and then you got to cut stuff, and then it was like cutting drum tracks in the 80s. It was not the funnest thing I've ever done, but we did it. We did it.
You deserved a chuddy for that.
It was good though.
You gave him out though. You could have gave me one. I could have gave you one too. Jeff could have gave us both one.
I'm assuming. Do we not always get a chuddy? Like people giving out the chuddies get chuddies.
I guess we get like
the way
honorary.
All the chuddies are ours.
Yeah. But Jeff hasn't been in the chuddies yet, so he's got that to look forward to.
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing. I'm calling it. We're definitely doing a chuddies at the end of this season.
I'm gonna have to, since we're doing video now. I gotta prep some kind of special thing. I don't even know what we'll do. I'm just gonna
buy a tuxedo T-shirt.
There you go.
That's a very good idea. Instead of our VHS walls, I'll just get rid of those, and I'll just play like People's Choice Awards behind us the whole time, like from 1997. It'll be great.
Walk-off music.
Dave, to go back to what you were saying, people do come here for one reason, and it's not Star Wars nudes. Some people may come for that. Fucking hell. I didn't even... That was too good of a thing to have not made up, but I didn't mean that at all. They come here for horror movie news.
Oh.
Yeah.
Star Wars horror movie.
You have to tune in on Tuesdays for our Star Wars cast. So without further ado, let's get into some horror news. Magic! We're here. Back at the horror desk, and it is...
We're at the horror desk. I'm typing away on my little laptop here in front of me. It's so tiny.
It
is need little chopsticks to type on it.
It is still low res, maybe a little bit low rent, but that's how we do things around here. So,
B-style.
We're building another news set to replace this one sometime in the future, but it's under construction. So now, this is what we're working with. Dave, Jeff, without further ado, let's talk about some horror news. Dave, you want to go first? Me go first. You want to go first? Want me to go first? You want to go first? Or you want me to go first? Me first or you?
Yeah.
Do you want me or go for you? That'll be so much fun for our audio listeners on Spotify. I bet we could look at the analytics for this episode and see where they drop off. You want me or you? Then if I didn't get it the first time, I got it the second time. Suck it.
I'm gonna be bold here, Chris. I will take the first news. I'm gonna start horror adjacent news. There is a trailer for a new superhero movie, Venom: The Last Dance. So Venom, we talked to briefly. Part of the Carnage is more horror than Venom, but
Right.
Venom is it's not the horror we deserve. It's the horror we got.
Well, I mean, his
That's how
tagline
they
for a long
part of
time was
Marvel.
"Lethal Protector," which is violent and cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This looks pretty good. The other two are funny and have a lot of action, and so I'm in equally. These are the three Venom brothers, the Venom Bros. I'm in on it.
He has three brothers.
Have you seen, or did you see that the Venom brothers? Yeah, I got three Venom brothers. Tom Hardy 1, Tom Hardy 2, and Tom Hardy 3.
Oh. How you feel about Tom Hardy as Wolverine?
Sounds good.
I've seen a lot of people mention him. I'm really shooting for Daniel Radcliffe, personally. If he throws some meat on his bones, I think he could do it.
If he never made it on stones. Getting Wolverine, I don't know.
He's got to bulk up a little bit, but he's smaller. Frenzy, it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. Could be.
He's got the grizzle because he's already got a beard now. I mean, he's grown into a full grown man.
Yeah, and he's British. So all British people are better actors than we are. So I think that's
exactly.
I think that's pretty much
a fact.
a fact.
I can't argue with that.
I'm trying to point to you. I gotta point this way. I always forget.
Did you watch his horror movies? The Black Witch, The Woman in Black?
No,
I've not seen that yet.
I've watched part of Horns.
Horns, I like
Joe Hill.
Is that a Joe Hill story?
Yep.
Yeah, Joe Hill. It's Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
So
yep.
I'm gonna listen to read the book soon. So
I can understand why he goes by Joe Hill, because Joe King, nobody takes him serious.
Right? He changed. He put his his first and middle name or whatever to separate himself. Like even Stephen King didn't even know he was writing books. Like from what I read. So for a long time, like no one knew that was Stephen King's son. Like that was pretty cool.
He probably just wrote down the fucked up shit his dad told him at bedtime.
Nosferatu. Okay, so I'm reading that right now.
Oh yeah.
Very Stephen King. Very Stephen King. It's like wow. And he even looks like Stephen King.
Yeah. Next up, we have got another trailer, Alien Romulus, which really I'm just excited for Dave to watch, because also Fede Alvarez, who we're big fans of. I've not watched it yet, so let us know your thoughts. Have either of you watched it yet?
No.
I did. I watched it today.
Thoughts?
Watched it today.
Thoughts as the resident alien boy?
I still have my one nitpick is that in previous installments, when the facehuggers jump on somebody, they're not tackling grown men to the ground.
Okay.
But this trailer continues the teaser trailer. You had the teaser trailer, and that seemed to happen, and they're jumping through the glass and stuff like that. For a minute in the trailer, this trailer, I kind of wondered, like, is this taking place on the planet where Aliens takes place? It's like a prequel to Aliens. I don't think it is. I don't think it is, but it wouldn't surprise me completely if it is. Because there's some shit happening with a ship crashing into a planet. Looks like it. I'm so in. It looks really good. Gives really a mashup. Alien and Aliens are so differently toned. This trailer seems to mash those very well. There was a really cool scene where this chick has this medical device, and she puts it on her back and turns it on, and so it's like becomes a living X-ray where you can see through her, and you see the fucking embryo pounding from the inside of her chest. Yeah, it's good. Watch it.
Technology.
And I'm going to say this is probably the last
Future.
Alien Romulus trailer I'm going to watch.
Fair. Living smart.
I'm in, and I'm going to cut myself off here.
Hold on, people. Hold on 1 second. Look how fucking crystal clear Dave is right now. You've not been this clear since we've been. Oh, it's going away. It's going away.
Yeah.
You got
It's
my
in
hopes
and
up.
out.
You used too much pixels at once.
They froze.
Oh, I had to let people know what you really looked like.
I've got to drink myself pretty again, Chris.
Is that I am listening to the Ramones tonight to be in the mood for the, plus they have the Pet Sematary song, which is I have loved for years.
Poison Heart, that was in the second one.
Oh, did they have a song in the second one?
Yeah, Poison Heart, so good.
We'll talk a little bit more about the second one because there's something I didn't know about the second one, which it kind of blew my mind. It's not even that complicated of a thing. But next up, Dave, what more news you have?
I have some Halloween. Sorry, I got a drunk. I'm a sloppy drunk. I got a drunk and I spilled a spill.
You're gonna kill me.
I got some Halloween Horror Night news for you. They announced the first IP today, and it is A Quiet Place. So this was highly speculated on the speculation map. One of the icons that they showing that this is the house, and they give you these are icons, was the a little mute symbol. So everyone kind of thought it was going to be a quiet place. Confirmed, it is a quiet place. The shirt that they put out today that I saw, I won't be buying that one. It does not look great. Unless the house is just blow me away cool, I won't be buying it.
It would
the
be
shirt
cool.
Does not look cool.
It'd be cool if they had some kind of mechanic that you could interact with where you try to be quiet going through the house. And if you fail,
there you go.
I believe they may do something.
That could be rad. That could be very rad.
Universal doesn't just like run you through the houses. This is a top tier experience at Universal Studios. Jeff, you have experienced the Halloween Horror Night houses. Halloween Horror Night houses are unmatched.
Right.
Period.
To their whorehouses, they run you through, and
they have already said that this is the first house that in the house the scare actors will be trained in. Some of them will be trained in using American Sign Language in the house.
Ooh.
So I think they're really going to go deep into the, hey, keep quiet, or these things are going to pop out at you, and maybe have some forced sound. I'm looking for like maybe something on the floor that you step on that makes sounds, and then makes the things pop out at you. I know they're going to be something good. The other thing, about a week ago, Halloween Horror Nights on Twitter. Fuck you, Elon Musk. I'm not calling it anything else. Halloween Horror Nights on Twitter announced that they were going to have a premium Scream night. So Jeff, you guys went to the Orlando Informer meetup with us one time, right?
Yes.
With the reduced crowd sizes and the open
So
late and the unlimited food.
Oh yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, all the rides that night, you get on the ride as quick as you can walk to it. Because they are running like 10%, 15% capacity. Well, this year, for the first year ever, they're having a premium Scream night the night before Halloween Horror Nights opens to the public. So it's August 29th.
Oh.
And it is going to be reduced crowd sizes and unlimited food and Stella and I have tickets.
That's worth
fucking
it.
go.
That is,
Oh my
that is
Dude,
worth it.
unlimited food. The food costs like $1,000,
Right?
From what my
yeah.
P-brain understands. So
Orlando
that
Former,
alone.
they don't give you like all the food choices. They only have certain food choices.
Oh, right.
But
still,
some of the areas they get good food. Like you go to the Simpsons area, you got like a whole turkey leg. I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yep. Turkey legs, foot-long corn dogs are staples of the Informer meetups.
Oh yeah.
The pizza fries at Seuss Station. But this is Halloween Horror Nights.
oh my God.
So it's
So
going to
we're
be the
cutting.
Halloween Horror Nights.
Hold on. Can we put a pin in this, please, and let me drink some more, and then ask me if I want to go with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
yes.
saying pizza fries is almost enough.
Oh, Informer
Dude,
meetups are the best. The best.
I'm just joking. I just
they
bought
are
like 2
great.
Switch games. I can't afford to go anywhere.
This is going to be Halloween Horror Night food. So I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that we have the peanut butter burger from last year. Because sometimes they'll do that. Like this is the second year in a row, and 2 years ago they didn't even have Chucky, but they had the peanut butter burger then, or they had the
Clarification,
Chucky
did you
burger.
say Chuckium?
Chucky.
Like a mineral?
Yeah. No, Charles Lee Ray. Child's Play.
Are these periodic table things you're saying? Chuckium and Charles
Maybe.
Lee Ray combine and make murder-yum.
Yeah.
Murder
Combined, they
oil
make a peanut butter burger. The peanut butter burger
with
was
peanut
a
butter on
cheeseburger
it.
with peanut butter and raspberry jelly on a bacon cheeseburger.
Oh wow. It's a heart attack
And
waiting to
cherry
happen.
peppers. And it had cherry peppers. And it was so fucking good. Oh my
Dave, I
god,
don't know how to
it was
feel right now. What do you do with this information? A sensitive person being presented with like the other ends of the universe for the first time? Like I don't know what to make of these things. We got a whole
right.
news thing to still get through, and I'm like morally having a problem.
Sometime this summer, I am coming to your house. We're going to do a cookout. Maybe we'll do the 4th. Maybe we'll set off some fireworks on the 4th.
With peanut butter and jelly
we're,
burgers?
we're going to put peanut butter and jelly on a burger. Yeah. Or at the very least, I'll buy some donuts. We'll slice them in half and make the donuts our buns.
I'm kind of I think I was already okay with that, but I think really what threw me off is the jelly, the raspberry jelly. I don't know.
It was good. It was so good, man. It was so good. So
next
good.
up in our horror news, get the boat rolling again. Speaking of boats, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon has another season.
What a boat.
Because we talked about The Walking Dead and Carol specifically a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and put this in my notes. September 29th, you Walking Dead freaks. Season 2 of Daryl Dixon, which has apparently got a name for this season, which is the Book of Carol. Naming your seasons is kind of cool, I guess. That seems like a cool thing. So get out there and get ready to wait for a couple months, because that's when that's happening. Next up, Dave.
Hold on Daryl Dixon. I hope the plot of this season is that Carol starts an OnlyFans and Daryl Dixon is her manager, but there's no internet, so they just have to put the pictures in a book and distribute it across the wasteland
like
that
an
way.
old school fanzine.
Yes.
Anybody over 40 knows what a fanzine is.
Great.
I'd subscribe to that. It's in the back of Hip Raider, or what were those magazines? Metal Edge, remember those?
Oh,
what other news
Easy
you got? We're trying to sell the Carol Dixon. Did they get married? I don't know. Anyways, Dave, continue. I'm gonna go off on a Carol thing. It's not pretty. I'll have to hit
I'm
the
going to go
technical
on
difference
something
screen.
I just briefly saw right before we went on the air. So this is TV news. They're doing, or a Dexter prequel series is in the works. Of course, Michael C. Hall, Arsenio Hall, is too old to play Dexter anymore. Especially too old to play a young Dexter. Thank you, Jeff. Your face told me you heard that.
I was like, what? Arsenio? What? Okay.
Christian Slater is going to play a young Dexter. Not a young
Ooh.
Dexter, like a younger Dexter. It doesn't look like teenage. It looks like maybe early years in the force.
Christian Slater?
Isn't he
Christian
older than
fucking Slater.
Dexter? I think Michael C. Hall is younger than
84-year-old Christian Slater is playing a younger Dexter?
Hold on. You're not taking into account the number of stem cells that Christian Slater, because I saw a picture of him
stem cells ain't nothing to fuck with.
ostensibly from recent, and the dude has not aged since River Phoenix died. He may have absorbed River Phoenix's soul.
That's true.
I would love if past Chris had helped future Chris in this moment and had a conspiracy banner we could pop up for moments like these. Science Chris is back.
All right. I'm making a note. Conspiracy banner.
Thank you. Send that to me later.
There we go.
Don't think I will make it. I made a Corey Feldman thing that I promptly deleted in my drunken stupor 2 weeks ago because I don't know.
I thought we were going to mention and record.
I looked at my OBS today as I was setting stuff up, and I'm like, oh, the Corey thing, let me listen to that real quick, make sure it's cool. It's like, there's no trace of this. I'm like, shit, what did I do? Why did I do that? Anyways.
So we're going to mention Corey Feldman just raining on throughout the episode.
I'm the garbage day.
Garbage, man.
I'm the garbage day.
Garbage news.
Next up, we got some Jason Universe news. First off, as your science expert in the horror house, Jason is in the Multiverses game. He is the Season Pass character, so if you want to buy a Season Pass and play a Smash Bros. Kind of game, you can get into that. Apparently, if you played the open beta a year ago, whenever it was, you get the pass for free, which I did, and I have Jason and have played a lot of Jason. It's a lot of fun. I don't think I can talk my friends into playing with me. Tim and Jen played like an hour with me, and we're like, fuck you, nerd. We're going to bed.
You should try Loch Ness Monster.
What?
Oh, he will play with you.
Oh. Fun game. Jason's fun.
Matt was a huge Smash Bros. Guy. That's
one of the two.
Matt is Loch Ness Monster currently in my phone.
Oh. I have him as... Or no. I have me in his phone as Troy from football. Long story.
You want to get into it?
I've never been called Troy. Never played football. It made sense to us at the time. I'm like, you'll see this and laugh in years. I wished him happy birthday last year. He never said anything back to me. Also, Jason, one more piece of Jason Universe news. According to Joe Blow, one of my favorite sites for horror news, Jason Universe on X is following several Jason kind of related X accounts. A24, as we talked about, the multiverses, like I just mentioned, Blumhouse, and so on. What's interesting for you video game players and players of the Friday the 13th asymmetrical kind of horror game from a few years ago, that unfortunately ceased production because of the whole legal shit happening with all that then, and they moved on. Which was a shame because there was so much more they could have done with it. But Jason Universe Twitter account is following the makers of that game. So, fingers crossed, maybe there could be a revival in the works, which I would love. And yeah.
Do you want to do an episode on the original Nintendo Friday the 13th game?
I would absolutely love that.
That motherfucker.
I love that game. It's such a piece of shit, but I love that game. That was maybe my first jump scare. When you're going through the cabin. When you walk into
a cabin and Jason's in there? Yes.
Yeah. You're like, where the fuck am I going? There's a fireplace. Bunk, 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 bunk. And you're like, fucking shit. A little heart can only take so much, and that's a lot.
He's so fucking hard.
It's
I've survived one encounter with him and never had the character survive the second encounter with him.
you always use the fast people first, and then you're stuck with like George, who's like so fucking slow. And if you
That
never
game is
played
something else.
the Friday game from a few years ago by Gun Media and Ilphonic, all them, it was so janky and kind of glitchy and kind of rough around the edges, but it was really fun. It was really fun and pretty faithful to like 80s Friday the 13th. So it's a real shame that it got shut down, because they were teasing Jason X and had like, you know, a map on like a starship kind of a thing like that, and they didn't get to release it because of that whole stuff. So if nothing else, hopefully maybe we can get that and they can put it back up for sale, because they delisted it, which is super not cool. But there's our Jason universe news for the week. I'm sure there'll be something fucking else next week.
It sounds like there's a lot of things going on in the Jason universe.
But not really, but kind of. But Dave,
yeah.
What else is in the boat? We talked about a boat for a second.
How do you feel about? I'm glad you. Great transition, Chris. How do you feel about shark movies?
Sharknado.
No, this looks more
good.
I'm going to go on a limb and call this the French Jaws. It is called Under Paris. It's called
there are sharks under Paris?
So there is waterways under a lot of Paris. The Seine River goes under large parts of Paris.
Clarification real quick. Which is it not Paris that has all the tunnels with the dead bodies and like the skeletons?
The catacombs, yes.
There's sharks in there?
Not in there.
Is that what you're saying?
Not in those catacombs, no, but under parts of Paris, different parts
under some of those skulls is sharks?
Maybe.
Is that why they don't come back?
Like, oh, I'm going to take this shark. I'm going to take this skull as a souvenir and pick it up, and there's a shark pop out at you. But it's
shark.
A
gotcha.
Shark circulating around and under Paris.
How you get down there though?
The trailer is out, and there's already like the shark expert being like, "Mayor, you can't do this," and the mayor's like, "No, what are you talking about? The triathlon must go on." Oh,
so this is Dubs.
We gotta get them kids in that water.
Yeah, get in the water, kids.
We got money to make.
Paris, if you're into shark movies,
you say Jaws,
there's a certain, like, even among animal movies, shark movies is its own thing. There's so many shark horror movies, they deserve their own genre. So
true.
Jackie's kind of. I got to talk to Jackie. I haven't talked to Jackie about this movie coming out because for a while she was on a big shark movie kick. 40 meters down, 40 meters down 2, 40 meters down 3.
40 meters, 40 meters down, 40 plus 48 meters.
What's the one?
Is that the Blake Lively movie where she's stuck on a rock?
That's
okay.
Yes.
Was it Manny Moore in that one?
What's that?
Is it Manny Moore in that one? The first one.
I was thinking it's Blake Lively. I don't know.
Is that the blonde actress? 40 meters down.
Okay. I'm getting confused with a different
the
movie.
Brunette singer.
Open Water.
Blake Lively.
Open Water.
Is
yes.
Open Water is another one.
Very low budget.
Under Paris.
Yeah. How do you get under Paris though? Is my question. Like, I don't know. I thought there were skeletons.
River, the Seine River.
But where do you get from the skeletons to the river? Dave, how you get from the skeletons to the river? Connect. This is going to be a weird audio cast for our Spotify fans.
Yes. Chris, you have your pencil. Pick up your pencil. Put it in your ear. I need science, Chris.
Yeah.
The catacombs don't connect to the river. 2 separate things. Now,
So what
now
you're
maybe you'll
saying
understand
is
it.
there's no entrance to the river.
From the catacombs.
So it's very Edgar Allan Poe. Like, let's just put sharks and catacombs.
Well, how do you get into the
The
river?
science has failed.
You're right.
Science has failed him.
I'm a fraud.
There are sharks in the cornfields in Kentucky, if you remember
There you
right.
go. Land sharks.
Sharks
I
of the
understand,
corn.
but that's my
Sharks.
that
That is
that
such a great.
I understand how you get into the cornfield of it all, but how do you get under the Paris of it all, under the skeletons and the tunnels of the Paris of it all?
Well,
Like,
Edgar Allan Poe would
Skeletons are
just
not,
fill with water and then put
skeletons are
sharks
not
in
very
it.
good diggers.
I've got some questions I'm gonna have to do some Wikipediaing on. In the meantime,
If Roger Corman was here, he could explain it.
I
Right.
believe that. Stay tuned next
Roger
weekend.
Corman would
Next
put
week.
the sharks in the catacombs.
Yes, he would.
That's a great idea. Godzilla -1 is on digital, on your VOD, whatever you're looking for right now. I don't know about all of them, but it's out there. It is ready to be watched. I still have yet to watch it. Dave is not my friend on social media now because I've not watched it yet. Dave, I'm sorry.
I cut
I
you
hope
off, Chris. I can't. It was bad for my reputation to be associated with you on socials if you haven't watched Godzilla -1 yet. It's the first Godzilla movie to ever win an Oscar.
Jeff, have you watched it yet?
No, I've not.
Why am I be singing
Hold on.
out like this? I couldn't even say it straight because I'm so flustered.
Hold on, I'm about to unfriend you, Jeff. Sorry. Hold on.
I just spilled so
That's
much
okay.
Okay.
peach whiskey down my.
I'm
Not
perfectly
whiskey.
fine with that.
It is
It won
very
an
good. It's
Oscar?
made. It won an
Yeah,
Oscar
and
for special effects,
yep.
and it is
Jeff,
made
if
by
you listen
Toho
to your
Film.
own show's news feature, you would know that.
Yeah, Jeff.
Oh.
We've created a monster. Maybe he needs to lay off the ciders.
No, that can't be it.
Okay, I take that back. That's a ridiculous idea.
But we have floated the idea around of doing Godzilla -1 episode this season, so if you would like to see that, let us know.
I think I'm off-centered. So
Next up, Dave.
this is my last piece of news. So we talked briefly about the Terminator Zero anime coming to Netflix. Well, now we know who is going to voice the Terminator, and it is none other than Timothy Oliphant, who is Oliphantastic, and I'm super into this. Uh,
Now
what is there
you
to
know
say? I mean,
who. Now you know which actor to blame for your Netflix subscription rising next month.
Right?
yeah, oh yeah.
Way it is. That's just the
First
way
Hit
it
Man.
is. Tim Oliphant will never be the same. Next up, we have got
I would rather
all
that
my
money go to Timothy Oliphant than Jake Gyllenhaal. So
dude.
I said it.
Jake
Gyllenhaal is
disagree.
miserly with his money. I heard he doesn't even tip at the Starbucks.
I go to Dunkin' because that's what the world runs on, I was told.
I'm
trying to help the world.
Doesn't even. I heard Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't tip at any of the coffee shops. Hell, I heard he takes more sweet and lows than he actually needs.
I can respect that. I take more napkins than I need.
Can't. I am. This is just rumors I heard, and if Jake Gyllenhaal wants to clear it up, he can come on the show with Charles Band, and we can clear a couple things up together, just like these things out.
If you also want a little mustard on your gravy, next up we have got AMFAD, which is a Jeff News exclusive. Our first, a JoJo Siwa horror movie coming out. AMFAD, All My Friends Are Dead. If she's not been in your TikTok feed enough lately, here she is in maybe her first horror movie. Maybe, I don't know for sure, but hopefully she dies soon in the horror movie. Chill out, internet. Don't cut that in a weird way.
No, context is important. Chris said in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie.
Yes,
I got your back on this one, Chris. Okay.
Yeah.
And because of that statement, I will friend you on the socials as soon as the show is over.
I'm in.
You're back.
But a quick throwback to the Jason universe: when you die in the NES Jason game, Dave, what does it say? You're dead. Your friends are dead. Fuck you. I think that's pretty much what it said. One last piece of news before we are closing the news deck. News deck? Chris is drunk before we're at the halfway point, which is concerning. Blumhouse, My Bloody Valentine. They're a mix made in money heaven. It is time to bring this franchise back. So says Mr. Blum of Blumhouse. And he's going to throw money in 3D, perhaps even, at My Bloody Valentine. A new movie's coming. Is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? Is it going to be in a mine? Is it going to have a Bloody Valentine? I don't know. Am I Eminem in a fat guy disguise? Maybe.
Will Lloyd Kaufman be in it? Because he was in the fan film that's the sequel to the original.
Hopefully.
I forget what episode that was, but you guys should go listen to that, where Dave and Jeff went to the Horror Hound in Indy and talked to the makers of that fan film, and
they were super cool. Super cool.
They were super gracious, because you know how I am. I got my stupid ass comments right off the bat that almost no one thinks is funny but me and you drunk fools, and they were right there with us. They were like,
can you drink at these conventions? Is that a possibility?
Oh yeah. It's expensive to drink at the conventions.
Can you get drunk before you go in?
Probably.
I would suggest pre-gaming at when we go again. When we go in September, guys.
Yeah, the bar we went to was awesome.
Now, your daughter, Dave, has said that could be a good special episode. And I'm easily influenced, so I think I'm gonna have to request that you guys take your cameras and film as much as you can when you ever remember, and send it to me so I can make us a time capsule episode of us visiting Cincinnati Horror Hound, whatever it's called, 2024.
Jackie actually suggested that I just buy your ticket and guilt you into going.
There you go.
Damn, Jeff, how you feel about that?
Yeah, definitely guilt you into going.
Yeah.
Jackie kicking and screaming. You'll have fun.
Me?
Yeah. It was a great time.
Listen, after the Texas trip, which takes like 12 and a half to 13 and a half hours, give or take, the traffic, for a good minute after that trip, I'm like, travel doesn't matter anymore. So I know that's still a ways off, so I may be unconditioned by then. But right now, I'm like, fuck it, we'll go right now.
Let's go.
So cool.
It's just in Cincinnati. Jeff would have the longest drive of any of us.
Yeah.
Jeff, how do you feel? People want to know.
Oh yeah, definitely a good time.
Jeff is in.
All right. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make a commitment on the internet on the Horror House podcast. You can meet the three of us. We'll have a table and everything. We won't.
Holy shit.
At Cincinnati Horror Hounds. You can ask for autographs for free. We'll be outside the Coliseum, the Galleria, the arena, the warehouse. I don't know where this is being held.
Car park.
Yeah.
It's the Sharonville Convention Center.
Come visit us.
Little known fact.
And maybe Robert Englund. I don't know who's going to be there.
Is named after Sharon Osbourne.
Probably. He's a.
It's probably not true, but I'm going to say it anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that about does it for the news. for another week. The news segment, fellas, has become a very extended feature in the horror house, which is better or worse what it is. I ain't hating. Whatever things happen is what happens. Also, I'm quite drunk, so let's get out of here and get into the episode before I have a Day They Live episode. I'm gonna throw up. It's time.
It's about time.
God,
I love it.
Whoever made
Chris.
that as a pimp. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know, man.
Oh,
damn.
That is. Oh,
I love the ending of it.
Yeah, I was kind of proud. It just made sense. It just made sense.
It did.
Speaking of makes sense, you out there listening, watching right now, this is your one chance. This is your last chance to blow Mom Spaghetti something overload. I don't know. To not get spoiled for 1989, maybe even 2019's Pet Sematary, maybe 2023's Pet Sematary Bloodlines, and also the novel from 83, 84. Basically, Pet Sematary is off limits from here on if you don't want spoiled. Let's get into it, fellas. Let's talk about some Pet Sematary. Who wants to start us off? Oh, Chris, hey, yes, me. Let's go. Let's talk about a little bit of Stephen King, because we have only really kind of talked about him in passing.
Time out, Chris.
I talked about early into the horror house how I was reading Pet Sematary at the time, and I'm a slow reader. I'm not very competent in my reading skills. I get tired easy, and it's hard to get through a book because I get tired, and it may be ADHD. It may just be, I don't know, neurological thing.
He's got any education. Chris, you're getting ahead of yourself. This is your movie, so you have to give us a quick synopsis of the movie.
Oh, right. Hold on. Doctor and his family move into Ludlow, Maine, across from Herman Munster. They find out that there's a path that leads to a pet cemetery that they learn of later. Some things happen. There is a kid the college kid that dies. He's got his brain falling out of shit. Fucking Dale Midkiff, who... Welcome to the horror house. Come on in. Come on in. Here's some horror antlers. We're talking about Pet Sematary. I forgot where I was at. Judd Crandall, who is played by Herman Munster, is fantastic. Leads us down a path into horror and mystery and fucking terribleness, and people get buried in the Micmac burial ground, and then bang, bang, boom, you get bad shit happening. I don't think people eat other people, but they could have. I don't know. And that also there's some pets.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was a great rundown.
I did my best. I feel so sorry for our audio podcast listeners this week. It's very just going for it. I mean, you could really, but maybe it's a whole new flavor. I don't fucking know.
Edit it later.
You are
all right.
Rating with a party of one. Thank you for joining. We are gonna keep on talking about some Stephen King, Pet Sematary, 89 and beyond. But there's that. Let's talk about first, though, a little bit of Stephen King, because we've only kind of talked about him in passing. Even at the beginning of this episode, we talked about Joe Hill, sorry. Great joke. You go watch it later. But even in the early days, like we talked about, me reading Pet Sematary like this first season or two, Dave, do you remember that? I'm like, I'm rereading it for the first time in like 70 years. And, but beyond that, I like here and there we've talked about him, but, really haven't done a full episode on anything kind of Stephen King, which, listen, for me, as far as movies, Stephen King movies go, this may be my favorite. So, spoiler warning for Horror House podcast. At the end, I may rate it kind of high for Chris. But The Stand, I think, is my favorite book. But I also love the Pet Sematary book. Have either of you read Pet Sematary, the book, before we get into this?
No.
Okay, no pressure, no pressure. Jeff, why don't you go read it real quick? Come back, and we'll keep it going. I'm just kidding.
It's a fairly short book by Stephen King standards. It's only got like 350 pages.
Yeah.
A man is a little wordy sometimes, but I love me some Stephen King books. I mean,
Yeah.
He
Stephen
goes
King
down
is
these
my favorite author.
Yeah, the rabbit holes he goes down. It's like someone took the Horror House podcast and put it on paper.
Yeah.
As it's 1 minute.
If we had cocaine.
Oh, he's definitely doing the book before.
But he almost didn't have this book published because, in his words, it's his scariest and it's his most nihilistic, depending on what side of the country come from. And he kind of, in part, only put it out to end a contract with the publishing company he had at the time. So I think it's a great story. Oh, pretty much top to bottom, it is nihilistic, and it really is like, what's it all for? What does life even mean? Who cares? Because it just ends in this, And you could interpret it that way, and I can understand his kind of. I don't know if I should get this out there really because it's so bleak and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's pretty dark at the end of all things. So I get it.
Isn't it mentioned in Little Giants, the Rick Moranis movie? I think at the beginning that he's like a writer, and then they're like, "Oh, aren't you the one who wrote Pet Sematary?" He's like, "Sure." He starts signing off Pet Sematary.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It's one of his stuff. I think it's his Rick Moranis movies where he was like a writer.
Actually him.
And then he started signing off like a Stephen King movie, Stephen King Pet Sematary book or something like that.
Oh, okay. I saw that.
It's like, yeah, sure, because no one read his book.
Yeah. So I don't know how we want to really approach this. If we want to talk about like some differences in the book as we go, or off the jump, or at the end, or. I mean, there's only a couple things that I think were in the book that need to be talked about that weren't in the movie, but like a couple big things.
I was looking for the audiobook on Hoopla and I couldn't find it, so
I
was wondering the difference between the movie and the book. I did see that Bruce Campbell was supposed to be Lewis Creed.
I can see that in Del Midcalf. I can see that similarity, and I think that's maybe in part why I liked him. For like, I remember seeing the Pet Sematary movie and Evil Dead around the same time, and just that kind of like, and kind of in my brain, I see a leading man in both of them, and they're so similar that it just makes sense. And I like both of them a lot. I think they're both great.
I do feel like I've read the book so long ago, I don't really remember the differences.
But
I did watch this recently, and I will absolutely say this movie hits different after fatherhood.
I can see that. Absolutely.
So, it was already fucked up, but ballsy book, ballsy movie.
Right.
Because of the things that happen. I'm dancing around it, even though we said spoiler alert, and usually I'm real bad about that. Just throwing out and then saying spoiler alert. So.
I mean, it's
but
something.
The Gage death, man.
Yeah, I mean, if we go on to talk about some of the after 89 stuff, basically it comes down to killing, unaliving of children, which make it us banned for even talking about. But I mean, it's a very taboo topic, and we do talk about it from time to time. It's like, why didn't that? Why are they holding back? Like, that's part of horror. Is like, why are you holding back this? Because we know that it would bother us if you went that full mile. And they do in this. And then they bring that mile back to you, but different, little twinge, and it's
It
better
comes
or
back
worse.
changed.
Yeah. Um,
I was reading something that there's supposed to be a Wendigo in the book, and they
yes.
don't mention it. And it was cut from the movie.
Yeah. I reading the book, I don't know. I think Lewis Creed gets like a quick glance at a Wendigo, at the Wendigo. But mostly, from what I remember, the Wendigo is more of a presence in this like vast main forest that they're part of, or that they're going into, and it's kind of hypnotic in a way. Like they're going when Judd takes him the first time to the Micmac burial ground. It's a lot of fog, and he doesn't know like really where they're at, and like watching the mud and their feet through the path as they go, and like a presence is watching them in a way, like something like maybe you'd get a glimpse of in the corner of your eye, but like when you turn, it's not there. That kind of a thing is kind of
Cool.
the Wendigo in the book is from what I remember, and it's more of this presence, which I get would be hard to do in a movie, but I think a competent director could do it.
It might have been better than just like, okay, we're going up this path. Like, all right, then we're going up these rocks. Again, where are they
Yeah,
going? Like, where is
yeah,
this going?
yeah,
Oh, it's not
They're
far. You've
out.
said that several times before. It's not far, but we keep going.
They're
yeah.
out there.
That's in the book. That's uh
Okay.
Creed is, he's like, we just walked and walked and walked, and like looking down at your feet as you're going, and then you start going up this hill, and then you're like, will this ever fucking end? And then all of a sudden, you meet these rocks, and then it's a formation, and there you are. But it's
I want to
yeah,
backtrack to the Wendigo for a minute. Refresh my memory. Says when you said Wendigo, that refreshed something in my head. I
Ooh.
seem to remember in the book, if my memory serves right, and maybe it was just a feeling I had, when these things come back to life, it's the Wendigo that kind of damages them.
yeah, and
There was something about that, like
yeah,
there's a chance that they could escape normal, okay, which kind of justifies Judd a little bit more and why he
Uh,
let
um,
Lewis bury the fucking cat in the
there
first place.
there's a
that would
little
make more
bit of that,
sense.
and it's like if the Wendigo
Looks
maybe
like a
wasn't
crushing.
there, it wouldn't have touched these dead bodies that they're trying to reanimate. Potentially, a lot of that, is still just kind of
That would have made
interpretation
more
and
sense.
mysterious. But like, they come back, and like, little Gage in the part where where he's back. Is that something? Is that the Wendigo controlling him, or touched by the Wendigo? I mean, like we
See,
talked
Judge
about.
just seems evil. Like he's like first like, oh, I'm a sincere guy. Like, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, let's bury this cat. Like, but we shouldn't have buried the cat. Like, what came to your mind?
Yeah.
They come back
Well,
evil. Then why did you bury the cat?
there is a point that I will bring up that will help justify that in a way. So,
Awesome.
Dave,
That's the
you
hardest
actually,
thing to justify. Yeah.
I think I got you, because so we got my first difference in the book, which is the Wendigo. Next up, number two, is Judd Crandall in the book had a wife, Norma, that we don't get in any of the movies. Who is a big part in the book. Like
Oh
we
wow.
have some kind of passage of time in the book, like a year or maybe a couple years, where they kind of, the Creeds and the Crandalls kind of really kind of become like second family in a way. They kind of bond. And so when Norma has a heart attack at one point, Lewis Creed, being the doctor, comes over, helps her. She survives. So when Church dies, gets ran over, Judd takes it kind of on himself to like repay that favor to Lewis to go take the cat. Here's how you bring your daughter's cat back. Since you helped me, this is what I can do for you.
That kind of makes
Life
sense.
debts are a bitch.
Yeah.
Life debts are a bitch.
Yeah.
Just ask
And
Spock.
you don't get that in the movies, which is unfortunate. You just feel like Judd is kind of like he's not evil, but it's like, why are you why? Like, why?
Right.
You know what it is. Why are you doing this?
It's like he
And
feels sorry for the daughter's cat dying, but then he talks about bringing his dog back to life when he was a child, and it was
yeah,
evil. I was like, then why'd you have him bring the cat back to life?
yeah.
Unless he thought maybe the dog had died sooner, and maybe he wanted to test out the theory of the cat dying, like maybe
I think
sooner, and
I
then
think
hurry
it
up and
talks
bury
about
it.
Lewis. I think Lewis talks about that, and I don't remember if that's a book or
Yeah,
a movie thing where Lewis talks
in the
about
movie.
with his wife. He thinks that, oh, what I made a mistake with Gage. I didn't get him in the ground quick enough.
That's in the
Yeah.
And if
movie.
I
That's a
get my
movie
wife
thing.
in
Yeah.
the ground now, she's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's like,
that
I
was in the
waited too
movie.
long with Gage. I got if I do it now with her, it'll be all. It won't be a thing. Obviously, no.
Right.
But to go back to before we leave, Judd Crandall's wife, because she has a big part in the book. Like, she has like what I think is arthritis or something that's like a chronic thing with her for a big part of it, and that you kind of, I mean, you obviously reading a book, you become more attached to people, maybe more than a movie, because you get more thoughts and
True.
stuff, more descriptions. So with Norma, it hurts more when she goes, and you get that from the other characters. Ellie especially is you get some of that in the movie from Ellie when she has that moment like being like, why does God have to take Church? Can't he get his own fucking cat, the fucking asshole?
Yeah.
I think that's what she said, kind of. Anyways, you get more of that in the book, and you get more from Mrs. Creed, from Rachel, who has her own. This movie is very much on people that are trying to come to grips with death. Even Lewis, you look at him, like he's obviously not coming to grips with death, and then that's where it leads him with the Wendigo zombies, whatever you want to call them. But you get more of that in the book where he's trying to help them through this. Like, Norma died. This is what happens when people dies. And
And you would think a doctor would be prepared for that, but I think he is a fairly young doctor, if I can
yeah,
remember. It
I think
doesn't really
so.
talk about that in the movie, but in the book, I think he's fairly young. Like this
I
might be
think
his
so.
first solo gig.
Yeah.
And then bringing Michael C. Hall back into this, I think he just released him reading Pet Sematary.
Oh,
So.
Okay.
I would listen to that.
I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear Arsenio Hall read Pet Sematary.
Jesus. Speaking of Arsenio Hall.
I got a comment. So, no, I got a serious comment though.
Okay.
Regarding the dealing with death. So I think that's symbolically a large part of what this is. It's the corruption of innocence because now they've had to deal with death.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
so the cat is just a cat. The cat is innocent until he has had to deal with death. And same with Gage. Gage is innocent. He's a playful baby boy, uh, and
Right.
until he has to deal with death. Now he has to deal with death by dying. Um, so I felt like the book fleshed out Pascal's role a lot more too. So and maybe that's the next thing you're going to, Chris, but
I
I'll
mean,
leave that.
Pascal is certainly a thing they've treated differently. from one thing to the next. I honestly can't remember a lot about Pascal in the book because I think part of that is because he didn't have, maybe, don't come for me, Stephen King fans, maybe he didn't have such a big role in the book that maybe he did in kind of like the 89 movie.
If I remember right, when he dies, there's a lot more interaction before he dies with Lewis. Where in
Maybe.
the movie, like they bring him in and he dies, and Lewis just happens to be the dude there. Like it doesn't even show Lewis
Right.
really doing that much.
He's like,
And
oh, call the
Pascal
hospital.
seems tied to him. Yeah.
I cannot remember. Stephen King fans, let us know in the comments. I know you will. Why did I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I was reading online and saw some mention of how Pascal in the 89 movie is more of like a comedic character, and I see a part of that, like a little bit of that, but not really. I never really thought
Maybe
of it in that way.
maybe at the end when he's in the truck. The only thing I can get was semi, and then the wife gets out of the semi, and he's
There's that moment when he first comes to Lewis when he's in bed. He's like, "Don't make me tell you twice."
right.
And I mean, but like nothing like super hammy, like super.
Right.
You know, I was a little
May
intrigued by that.
may I conjecture? May I conjecture that
No. Okay,
Pet Sematary takes place in the Star Wars universe, and Pascal has become a Force ghost.
There you
Stephen
go.
King really,
Force Ghost.
Stephen
Yeah.
King really believes in the Force. There's good Force and bad Force because there
good
are
force,
always
bad force.
invisible forces pushing for bad things to happen, and there's always good forces pushing for good things to happen. And who's going to win? That is that is in nearly every Stephen King book, uh, down to Stand By Me short story, where you don't get that as much in the movie, but in the short story, they're really kids are being pushed along by different forces. Oh, all Stephen King books happen in the same universe, and that universe is also the Star Wars universe.
I'm gonna have
like
to
how the
process this, man.
I like how he writes. Stephen King writes the book. He writes the screenplay, and it has to be set in Maine. So I mean, I think that, and then he also stars in the film, as well.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I
it's a lot
think
of Stephen King, and I think it works out really well.
yeah, I think
If
I
if
like
Florida
that.
is the dick of the United States, Maine is the nipple, and that nipple was formed when the remains of the Death Star collided into Earth.
God, you're bringing
I,
so
I,
much Star
okay,
Wars
okay.
into this. I don't know. But I really
Okay,
like
maybe.
how this part of Maine is just like kind of the center of all evil. Like there's just so much stuff that happens here.
Right?
And it's intriguing. Like how it makes you in the back of your mind at least, you're like, how is so much shit happening in this fucking place? Maine?
Right? You got
Uh
it.
did
A lot of
Misery
Stephen
take
King's.
place there? Because I think it probably did.
Not for
Like, let's
sure.
be real, it probably did. It probably did. Let's
A
be
lot of stuff
real.
happens in Maine. Maine's a great spot for
Yeah.
within
The
of the
honestly,
worlds.
the Stand is the only thing that I've maybe ever read of his that like moves away from me.
And then there's some other
there,
stuff that moves away, like New York. New York and Maine, I feel like is his hot spots usually.
it's I've not read some of the newer stuff. I think the last new Stephen King that I've read is oh shit, what is that alien thing that movie had Jason Lee and
Tommy Knockers.
no, not Tommy Knoxer, it's newer than that.
Dreamcatcher.
Had a Dreamcatcher, yes. That's the newest story. I've got Cell, never read it. I didn't even know there was a movie until I was looking up stuff for this. I'm like, there's a Cell movie? Are you fucking kidding me?
Cell
I owned
book
that
is
book.
great.
Samuel L. Jackson in it, and
Yep.
John Cusack.
Yeah, a
John
1408
Cusack.
reunion,
Yeah.
Yep.
which is cool.
I listened to the audiobook. It was really good. I haven't watched the movie yet.
Are you an audiobook
I
listener,
really like
Jeff?
both.
I love audiobooks. I like to listen to it at work. It's fun.
My man.
I'll pull up Hoopla and see what they have for free.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
Okay.
starting to get into the Joe Hill and love Stephen King. Listen to that.
My
It's really good.
thing is getting audio or not audio, audible trials
Oh yeah.
for my whole life, and also my wife's. I take for her. And then when it's cheap enough, I'll subscribe for an extended period. But it's been a hot minute. But I love it. I love audiobooks.
So good.
I've several times been close to getting that Nosferatu that you were mentioning earlier because it's supposed to be great. It's supposed to be great.
Is there like a TV show of it or something?
Is there,
Nosferatu?
Dave?
I think there is.
Yes,
I haven't
there
watched
is.
it yet, and I was like, I want to read the book first. So
We started it. We're 3 or 4 episodes in.
I need a moment. Sorry, audio listeners. I had some hair poking up that was freaking me out.
Nosferatu is very Stephen King. It has a lot. It'll mention Shawshank and it, and it's like, oh wow.
Oh, so I've never read Shawshank.
Castle Rock series. I recommend the Castle Rock series.
We have talked about that a couple times.
Isn't there a third season coming out?
The first two were really good. Because season 2 was so good. Season 1 was good. Season 2 was so good.
Misery's my favorite. I love Misery. So when they did that with Castle Rock, it was so good.
We talked about that briefly.
So yeah, it gives such a different spin and story for Misery. It's so good. So good.
My favorite Stephen King.
This movie got me really thinking about like doing more of the Stephen King adaptations. Like, I think Cujo's great. Misery is obviously so great. There's some other ones that I'm like, we need to get into these.
Salem's Lot, Sleepwalkers,
Firestarter.
I've never watched Firestarter.
Oh, God.
Neither one.
George C. Scott, Drew Barrymore. Oh yeah.
Is George C. Scott in that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that soon.
Oh yeah.
Let's steer back. Let's get some more Pet Sematary.
Let's keep moving on the George C. Scott podcast.
I was just reading that George A. Romero was supposed to direct it. That would have been a different movie, wouldn't it?
Firestarter?
No, Pet Sematary.
Oh,
really? George A. Romero was originally set to direct, but when filming was delayed, he dropped out, and Mary Lambert stepped in, and Romero directed Monkey Shine,
which I have also not yet watched.
That has Steve Buscemi in it
too.
I would be curious for the George Romero version of Pet Sematary because Mary Lambert's fine in this. Yeah. I think she does the job that needs to be done, but like I don't feel like she goes above what is necessary. Like, I'm not calling her a hack, but
no,
she's not done anything great since, in my opinion.
Madonna music videos.
This is her magnum opus. What did she need to do? This is a magnum opus. This movie is so good.
It
is legit. It it hits different now. It's more of that emotional hit. Or when I watched it back in the day, it was pure nightmare fuel. And I'm not alone. I saw quotes from Ty West and Ari Aster talking about this movie, and
my wife won't watch this with me. Of all the things I've had her watch over the last 22 years, this movie I've had her watch maybe one time because she hates Pascal. She's like, he haunts my dreams whenever I see him. I fucking hate it. I can't watch it. And
the makeup Makeup for him, the gore makeup is so good.
Yeah, she refuses. And I've had her watch some weird shit, and she just refuses Pet Sematary. She
It's
bought me
Zelda.
most people would say Zelda, which is played by a man, kind of on purpose because of that, because they wanted something to be off for that. But real quick with the Pascal
Right.
thing, or my wife, not Pascal, she bought me whatever the last edition of the Blu-ray was for Pet Sematary for my birthday or Christmas, and I remember when she handed it to me, she's like, "Here." Like, she didn't want to give it to me because she knows I'd watch it, but she's like, "Just take this. Take this fucking cursed thing from me. Are you happy? Fuck off." And that I just had to state her piece on how much she cannot stand this movie. Um, but can we talk for a second, fellas? Can
I thought that's what we were doing.
can I bend your guys' arms behind your backs like it's a 2-on-1 match, handicap match, and suddenly I have the upper hand, and I'm like, let's talk about Fred Gwynn being a Mainer. I don't know what the term is, and say death is better. Like, it's so.
Yes.
I love everything about his character in this movie and his performance in this movie. One of my favorite horror performances ever. Like, I would say easy top 5 for me. Because
Especially
I'm
if you
endeared by him.
Especially if you get into like Stephen King movies where they're always like, "Oh, in Maine, this is how it would sound." And it's just like he just fits that role perfectly.
So good. It's so good to me. It feels comforting in a way, like that neighborly kind of thing. But at the same time, there's a hint of dread, and it just snowballs. And it's Mary Lambert said that she looked at Pascal and Judd Crandall as like the angel on the shoulder and the devil on the shoulder. And I completely disagree with her. But I kind of see it, but I disagree. Because
Judd is both. He's the angel and the devil. He's like,
nothing Judd did was out of hatred
malicious.
or meanness or evil.
Right.
So I can't get behind that idea fully. I kind of on some kind of level I do agree.
Like he does it out of his heart. Like he's like, "Oh, I feel sorry for her about her cat," but then it's like, but then you tell the story about your dog, and it's
you
like,
should
wait,
know.
what?
You should know better.
Yeah.
Which is a very human thing. It's like, you should fucking know better, but you don't. Because you're a fucking stupid human.
Yeah. But it does it out of his heart, so you're just like, you just don't know if he's like, why? It's like, you know, he's trying to be sweet about it, but then it's like, you know, it's going to be evil. It's not going to go right.
Yeah.
It didn't go right for you. It's not going to go right for him.
Which I mean is kind of a thing in its own. Like, here's this guy that's trying to repay this favor that's kind of unrepayable. So he's doing the best he can. And just the human nature of being like, this is all I have to give, and it's terrible, but I don't quite understand. And your son's back alive. Sorry.
How old was Fred at this time? Because I'm reading it says his hair was actually black, so he had to dye it white.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
I would say he was about 300.
Because
if I was to guess, I'm sorry, Fred Gwynn. I love you. I love you. Oh my gosh, you're so great.
Wow, his hair was actually black at that time.
Yeah.
As old he was at least in his 60s. At least he seemed in his 60s in the movie.
I bet he was hard.
He was
70s.
born in 1926.
Oh wow, yeah.
26, so 63. Wait, 66? What was the year? 60 or
62,
26?
63, somewhere around there, depending on when filming started. So
26?
So,
1926?
so still had black hair at the time
1926.
and had
So
dyed white. That's
he was
crazy.
63. I mean, also that goes into the thing that we've talked about a couple times where it's like back in the day, older people looked older than they actually were. Like you see a 63-year-old person now, you're like, how you doing, 49-year-old? It's such a thing.
Chuck Norris, man, he's ageless.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
He's like
because they
200
put
years
stem
old.
cells in the food.
It's
Stem
true.
Because
cells
they
made
put
him.
stem cells in the food now.
How do you guys feel about Del Midkiff in this as Lewis Creed? Because some people I feel like aren't on the Dale level. I have been since the '90s. I've been a fan of his for a long time. He had a great what is it? Time Cop? No, not Time Cop. He was like a cop from the future coming back, catching people. Let me know in the comments if you're paying attention.
Sounds like Time Cop, but that's Van Damme.
I forget the name of it. It was a great show. He was great in it. But I've been a fan of his for decades. How did you feel about him?
I liked him in it, but I just didn't. I looked through his IMDb, and I really didn't see anything else that I really seen him in.
Yeah.
I feel like Quinn was the really the only that and the wife who played in Star Trek.
Yeah.
As Tasha Yar.
Yep.
But other than
Listen,
that,
well,
everyone else wasn't really like that popular. It didn't seem like.
Both Lewis and Rachel played in Love Potion '9. Oh,
okay. Listen, I think Rachel slept on for the fucking late 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
She slept on. She ain't no Susan Snyder. Hold on. She ain't no Susan Snyder. Sorry for that technical difficulties. Susan Snyder is up there, but Denise Crosby, up there. She's up there. Listen, that was a little bit much for Chris, but listen, she's up there. That's all I'm saying. Also, one other actor I really want to touch on is Miko Hughes as Gage, who I don't know how old he was then. Couple years at best, 3, 4, maybe 4 at max, and kills it, literally.
Yeah, it's such a good job. He did such a good job.
I don't know of a better that age actor in a horror movie that does the sweet little boy, this cute little sweet little boy, and then somehow, I don't know how, they turn it completely around, and he is horrifying. If I was in a room with reanimated Gage, I'd kill myself.
I was wondering if it was one of the Evil 3. Have you guys ever seen the Evil 3? Old classic movie. But there was like this little person who looked like a baby, but he was a criminal. And it was an adult who looked like a little child. They would put him in a crib, in a stroller. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The Unholy Three. The Unholy Three. Oh yeah.
I believe I saw that Wayne Brothers skit.
They made it once.
The kid did great. The kid,
silent.
The kid is he's such a sweet kid. He's such a great kid. Just normal kid. You don't expect much out of as an actor.
Especially if you
when
see
he
his
has
sister.
the scalpel and his face. I mean, he is. When they cut Judd's Achilles, that I felt the pain on that. Ooh.
Oh, that's one of the reactions I've never stopped feeling when I rewatch a movie. When that scalpel goes in, I'm like, oh no, don't want it.
It's so deep. It's so deep.
I think part of that is because I like Judd and don't want that to happen to him. I mean, that's a part of it.
Right.
And also it's a great effect. So
I mean, if we could be honest, the '80s really leaned into killing assholes. That everybody's got to be a
Yeah.
little bit of an asshole so that we feel good about killing them. We're rooting for the killers.
Right.
So when you don't have that, it hits hard.
Yeah. And this whole movie is kind of about that. Like, there's not really an asshole character that gets it. Everybody is really, except for Lewis, undeserving. And in a way, even he is, because he's just grief man. He is dealing with so much grief that I don't think he can be held accountable really for everything that happens because he's out of it. Maybe.
Pet Sematary 2, it has the asshole character in it, but yeah, the first one, it doesn't really have that character. Like everyone's good.
I will say,
I so don't remember too.
Oh,
the
stepfather? Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that in a second. The only asshole in the first one is Blaise Berdal, who plays Ellie. Because there's moments where I'm like, okay, she's okay. And then she screams her lines, and I'm like, why couldn't you have been Gage? Wow, lady. Chill out. Goddamn. I am so sorry but you have to, because they cast them. It's in a fucking feature-length movie with casting directors and people in charge of stuff. They chose her. She was not the right choice. She does too much when she's distressed. When she's not distressed, I'm okay. When she's not, she's my least favorite part of the movie, bar none.
It's just a very big juxtaposition because I really feel like she's kind of where you expect a child actor to be. But when the Gage actor did so good,
That may be it. Yeah.
at such a much younger age.
Yeah. And I mean, he would go on to fight Freddy Krueger in a couple years, and Freddy's dead. What would she do? I don't know. Didn't look her up. Why'd I have to throw a book for that comedy this way? Because I don't know where science
burn it.
You're making me look her up. Let's see, what else has she done?
So is there anything else in this story of the 89 version that you want to talk about before we move on to talk about some sequels, reboots, resequels, before we get to our overalls, fellas?
During the opening credits, it says there are several children's voices reciting epitaphs for the deceased pets.
Oh, yes.
And one of them is Jonathan Brandis, who was in It.
Oh.
So, I mean, there you go. It's a tie-in between those two movies.
Okay. The original TV miniseries.
Yes, with Tim Curry, because that's the best one.
I didn't know that. I distinctly remember hearing, literally because I watched it today, the children at the beginning. Dave, any other points you want to discuss for the 89?
No, I'm ready to move on. But I stand by. This is a solid, scary movie.
All right.
Talked about it today. Jackie's going to watch it.
89?
She's going to watch the 89. She watched the 2019. She's going to watch the 89.
She's going to watch the good shit. The good. Well, let's talk about in Chris's opinion, the not good. The 2019 reboot, which swerves for the sake of swerving, which I don't agree with. And the Pet Sematary 2 from 1992 and Pet Sematary Bloodlines 2. Well, that one I've not watched, so if one of you have watched it, I'll go pee while you talk about that. And listen, I don't know. Real quick, Pet Sematary 2. Let's go in chronological, fellas. I didn't know that Mary Lambert also directed that.
Oh, I didn't know either.
Yeah, and so that kind of lowers her in my standing a little bit. Like, she didn't have as much to do with the original that I thought she did. And so anything she says about the original, I can kind of take with a grain of salt, because she directed that piece of shit. Even though there are interesting things about it, it's not 89 Pet Sematary for me, and it don't live up to that. Jeff, you seem to have more of a idea. You have rewatched it.
Oh
recently.
no, I haven't rewatched it. No,
You just remember more of it.
Yeah, I think it was the first one I had watched was Pet Sematary 2 because it was on like one of the late night,
HBO or something.
Oh no, we didn't have cable at that time, so it would have been just late night, like regular like TV, like
right.
Channel 4 before
Fox
they signed off at night,
something like that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
they would play it, and Anthony Edwards was in it. I was like, oh, ER, I know that. So it's like, oh, I'll watch this. And Clancy Brown was in it. So and then
really,
and then you got Ramon's Poison Heart. So
Jeff, you're not hitting what you should be hitting, which is like, being a kid in that era. Edward Furlong was like up there. Like we identified with the Furlong. That's kind of why I took notice of it.
Oh yeah.
And I'll scoop your brains out or whatever the line was.
Clancy Brown, he was the stepfather in that. He was
something
such the asshole.
Yeah,
like he deserved to die, and then they bring him back. It's like, why?
Yeah,
he's dead. He's good.
Clancy Brown is just fantastic.
Oh, he is. He's such a great actor.
Next up is the reboot, remake, retelling, the reimagining. Pet Sematary 2019 has people, it does things, it swerves for the sake of swerves, and it just kind of really just leaves a taste in your ass that you're not there for. So, moving on to Pet Sematary Bloodlines 2023. I've not watched yet, so
I call time out. I already called time out.
Pet Sematary Bloodlines 2023. Did you watch that? How do you feel about that?
I called time out, Chris. I'm not letting you off the hook here.
For
Mary
what?
Lambert, you're shitting on Mary Lambert, who directed not one but 2 Queensryche videos.
Which songs?
He directed a Dolly Parton music video.
Hold on, go back. What Queensryche songs?
Motley Crue.
Hold on, what Motley Crue songs?
No, Queensryche.
Without You. Don't go away mad. Girl,
just go away. What Queensryche songs?
Rainy Night Without You.
Oh,
Another Rainy Night Without You version 2, and Building Empires.
You?
Oh, Empire.
Lionel Richie. My Destiny.
Excuse me.
Let's see.
Hold on, what does this have to do with Pet Sematary 2019?
This is Mary Lambert directed these.
Yeah.
So this is
She went from movies to music videos, so she went down.
Yes.
And no, she went to TV after that. Kind of popular TV too. So
Tales from the Crypt.
Oh,
come more recent,
Red
Dave. Like
Shoe Diaries, if you like the sexy stuff.
Woo, fangs.
Yeah. So all right. Now we can move on to the 2019.
Okay. Dave.
I agree with you, Chris, that it swerves just because
I have to pee. I'll be back.
Everyone who watched the original, we're just going to change something just to keep you on your toes. That doesn't mean anything when you change every fucking decision and you just change it to the opposite. Did you watch it, Jeff?
I've not watched it, no, because the original was the classic.
Instead of the little boy getting run over, it's the little girl.
What?
Instead of
If it follows the
So
book, it's one thing. But if they just go off from the book and do other things, it's like, why?
I don't mind a change here and there, but I will 100% agree with Chris. He's walking off as he thinks I'm going to argue against his take on this movie. He's right about that. Change for the sake of change. No, no. Change for something good. If you're going to make a change, this is something that the guys who produced the Last of Us TV show for HBO Max, they said, we decided we're going to be faithful to the script of the original game. When we decided to make a change, we had to say, does this change make it better? And so it's not just change for the sake of change. 2019, very much guilty of change for the sake of change. But the end of this movie is a gotcha. And I love it. I love the end of this movie. It almost salvages the movie. Um, almost, almost. I don't know how many times I can say almost to waste time. It doesn't quite change the movie, but they're in the car. They're getting ready to take off. No fucking keys. And the cat is there, and the dad is there, and the girl is there, and mom and dad and boy just like they're gonna be assimilated. They're gonna be Borged. So the 2019 remake is not a Star Wars movie, it's a Star Trek movie.
Dave, I'm honestly shocked that we are pretty much in agreement over the 2019.
Yeah.
I am actually
What did
shocked,
you
even
think
though
about
we've.
the end? Oh,
That's the only part that I really liked. Was
thank
the
you.
end.
See? Yes, that's what I said. That
Because it
the end
swerves in a way
almost
that still
salvages
makes
it.
sense with what it is at its heart. And that's how you do it. When you swerve, still has to make sense to your source material, and it does.
Right. And like I said, a change for a reason.
Yeah.
Change because even if that reason is I just want to take it in a different direction. I want to do something different. That's not even what they wanted. They wanted the same movie with changes. Aha, we got you.
Yeah.
That's what they
That's
thought. They
not.
were like, I got you, bitch. And I'm really like, I don't even care about this change.
Yeah.
You didn't really get me.
It had me thinking really of the Night of the Living Dead Tom Savini version, right? And it's like the changes that he did in that. The big changes, other than the ending, which was a big change, but it still made sense because at the heart of it, right? Like the heart of that, it still made sense because it's about civil rights and stuff related to that. So when that changes, and it still makes sense, it still fucking makes sense. But like the subtle
Jason
changes
Clark.
between that, you're still like, you're not changing the story. But as Pet Sematary 2019 goes, they're changing big parts of the beat of the story just because they want to swerve you, and that's not it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
They're going
I
against the
didn't think
nature of it.
Zelda was a scary.
No.
Church isn't that scary. Church is so scary in the first one, and when you realize those eyes are not like CG.
Yeah.
Um, uh, John Lithgow is no Fred Gwynn.
I was so excited for John Lithgow as Judd Crandall, and then he phoned it in. Phoned that shit the fuck in, like I do every Horror
Really?
House
Yeah,
episode.
I would expect more
I'm
out
just
of John
joking.
Lithgow.
Yeah, he didn't have an
no.
accent. He didn't even try to match Fred Gwynn's performance. It's not there. It's not
Oh
worth
wow.
watching. That's the only thing I was excited for in that movie, and it is
Oh,
such a letdown.
that is a letdown. I
The
would expect
last
more.
It's a
last good
Damn,
thing
bummer.
John
that's
Lithgow did
awesome.
was Dexter.
Yeah,
There you go.
he was so good in Dexter.
Dave,
He
did you
was
watch?
he was
Did
really
you?
good, even though he
Did,
pissed me off because he killed my girlfriend.
oh, R.I.P. bitch. I'm sorry.
I'm calling my girlfriend.
Sorry. Dave, did you watch Bloodlines? Because I've not.
I did. I did.
Is it a movie or a series? Because I'm a little bit confused.
It's a movie. It's a one shot.
How you feel about it?
It's. I say it's a one shot, but I think I could be crazy. I could be having fever dreams, but I think I saw that they're talking about a Bloodlines 2.
Was
So,
it that good? Was it
uh,
any good?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. It really does even more make you think like, what the fuck was Judd doing? Because Judd didn't just these things happen. Like they were way more horrific than what he tells in Pet Sematary. It's not just my dog came back, I had to kill my dog.
Mm.
It's not just the neighbor's kid came back and
Timmy
he wasn't quite
Batterman.
right.
Baderman.
Timmy Baderman. Uh, his dad is in the Masonic Lodge. He's a master level, so they just call him Master Baderman. Um,
Oh.
Petrovich. Uh,
That was a quick one.
uh,
David Duchovny
yeah,
is
just
in it. I read, right? Is that correct?
yep, yep. He's great.
Represent
He's great.
X-Files.
Yeah,
Snicksy
he's
X.
great. He's a good actor. The
And
kid who played Timothy Baderman, because Timothy Baderman is in it, a big part of this, and he is good.
pre-Pet
Good,
Cemetery? Pre-Micmac Burial Ground? No?
not pre. Spoiler alert, not pre.
Not
Only
pre.
post.
Okay.
He gets so you really tie in the Vietnam War stuff. Um, Baderman
Vietnam?
went to the Vietnam War, came back in a pine box, and his dad was grief stricken and buried him, and he came back. But they talk about the original white settlers that came to this area, and the Indians were already here, the Micmacs were already here, and they give some of that history. It's good. There's a decent little body count. It's solid. I really don't want to give so much away because you guys haven't watched it, and I
Do you
think it's
recommend
worth
it?
a watch. I recommend it. I don't think it's. I clearly don't think it's as good as the original as far as Nightmare Fuel.
Okay.
But
My question,
but
is this an
it
ambiguous kind of it's its own prequel to that story, or is this strictly a prequel to 2019's Pet Cemetery, which I don't give a fucking shit about anything that happened in that universe?
no, I know it's not tied to that at all. I mean, it could be if you wanted to. It ends with Judd and Norma getting married and settling down in Ludlow.
What, who?
Judd and Norma. You
Norma?
heard it correctly.
Norma? Really?
It ends with Judd and Norma
Great audio
settling
content.
down.
I'm fucking on board. Why didn't you tell me Norma? That's all you had to do. If you would have texted me Norma,
I'm saving it.
I'll watch
I'm
it
saving
now.
it for you.
That's the only thing that's ever mentioned Norma. I'm so there.
If you're like me and you have ever flipped through Shudder, and damn it, Shudder, it's like an abusive fucking relationship. I'll watch a movie and I'll be like, "Oh fuck it, I can't take it anymore, Shudder. I wish I could quit you." It's like fucking Brokeback Mountain between me and Shudder. And then every once in a while, like I'll get that good loving from them. If you're ever in one of those nights where like you just don't feel confident that Shudder's gonna give you that good loving, watch Pet Cemetery Bloodlines.
Okay.
Uh, Groundbreaking, no. Solid horror, yes.
So that's my big question was, do I have to look at this as if it's a prequel to 2019's, which I just don't want.
No, I think it stands on its own.
Okay.
I think it
That's
stands
all I
on its
need.
own.
That's all I
I
need.
think the fact that it ties to 1989 Pet Sematary is a bonus.
All right.
Oh.
There we go. I will check it out. I will check it out based on your recommendation, and I will judge it based on your recommendation. So, Dave, you're on
All right,
blast.
I'll be prepared
Bigfoot.
for the hate.
But I do want to watch it if I can pretend 2019 is not a thing. Fellows,
Okay.
any other final words?
I got one final word for you. Can you hear this? Did you hear that, Jeff?
No.
Okay, turn your volume up just a little bit. Rabble, turn your volume up just a little bit and tell me if you can hear this. Did you hear it?
No.
Nope.
Okay, turn your volume up just a little bit more. You hear this?
Damn it, I knew it was gonna do that.
Dave, I went to
That
the
was mean.
dentist. I went to the dentist Tuesday. No, Monday. Which this is a Thursday. I went on Monday. That's the first time anybody has told me. They're like, as you become older, and I'm like,
They're calling you old.
that's what the dental
This was
hygienist
Jeff's
said, and
reaction.
then that's what the dentist said. Two people said that to me, and then you're gonna scare me like that? You're gonna do that to me on our own show?
Even worse. Jeff, did you? I was hiding in the closet when they told Chris that, and this was his reaction.
Is that when Church jumped out at him in the basement garage thing?
Yes. Yeah.
I will say the only thing I can say in favor, well, the second thing, sorry, that I can say in favor of 2019's Pet Sematary. Dave, you said you didn't like it, but I thought I liked the church in that as well. I like both churches kind of equally. They're both creepy in their own regard to me. But that's about as far as I can go.
It's the same kind of cat or a different cat?
It's a different cat.
Is it like what, like
fluffier?
It's like a great cat? Is
They
it
should
a
just
white
use the Maine
fluffy
Coon.
It's like a
Maine Coon.
Yeah. It just reminds me of a cat that I had named Ralph, and he was so amazing. I loved Ralph so much. Dave, you maybe even met Ralph, actually.
We talked about Ralph today.
Really? Oh.
Ella was like, Jackie, you used to carry Ralph around like a lock on his neck, carry him like this, and he would just sit like this, and let Jackie carry him all day long, just choking to death.
He was the most fucking feral gutter cat you could ever want. And my dad somehow was every couple days would feed him, and then suddenly he just became our cat, and he was a pimp. Ralph was a badass. And if you look at the cat from 2019, that's essentially Ralph, even at the end of Ralph's life. Unfortunately, he stayed living way past when he should have died.
Yes.
And
R.I.P. Ralph.
You know what? My buddy. I have a cat named Bruce now, who I love dearly. But every now and then I'm like, get over here, Ralph. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. I forgot you.
Hold on,
never
Chris,
mind.
Hold on. I'm going with you.
All right,
Chris,
for Ralph.
or Jeff?
And then he goes in your bed. I have nothing.
I'll drink two for okay. I'll drink in Jeff's honor. All right, for Ralph.
All right. For Ralph.
Yes. Double swig. Oh. Nope, one more. Come on, Chris. There we go. Oh, that's what the audio part's missing is just your face after you drink that. It's just hilarious.
That second one almost didn't make it. Oh. wherever Ralph is, he's looking down, being like, "You were still as fucking stupid as you ever were, human." Oh,
Oh.
Ralph was a good ass cat.
yeah.
I've had some good cats. I had a cat named Cujo. How's that for irony?
Great name.
But
Right?
Ralph would, and we've got Katara now, who that is a loud bitch. The best cat ever was Ralph. I mean, well, not even my cat. I can't say enough.
I
All
loved
right.
Ralph so much. That said, let's get into our overalls and rate this bitch before I die of alcohol poisoning. Since this was my pick this week, we are going to start over there with Mr. Dave, and then we're going to hit Mr. Jeff, and we're going to give our overall opinions, and we're going to rate this bitch. Pet Sematary, we're just rating the 1989 movie. For clarification, even though we talked about the whole gamut, sorry, I've just drank so much whiskey. It's funny to me, shit. Damn. Chest
In
not
a
having
conundrum.
it. I'm really curious
Yeah.
where we end up on this because I don't know.
I'm in a conundrum. I'm in a conundrum right now.
Let me have it, brother. Let me have it.
I'm going to buy you a bottle of whiskey, Jeff, as you're going to drink a with at least on these occasions when we're saluting somebody. I'll buy. Yeah.
But you love
Did I
my
give you one?
cat.
Did I give you one for Christmas? Did I give you a bottle for Christmas?
I drank it before Christmas afters.
Okay. I understand. After the holidays, you got to do some drinking. And
It was the first
I
whiskey I had
told
now.
Stella I wasn't drinking tonight. What a bad influence you are.
I'm so sorry.
But okay.
Go ahead.
Bottles of whiskey all around. At least rum chata. You want a bottle of rum chata? All right, I'll buy some rum chatas all around so we can drink some.
Root
And root
beers.
beer.
I'm
I'll
making
get the root beer.
alcoholic root beer floats. I'm making alcoholic root beer floats to go with our peanut butter and jelly burgers.
We'll do that for
Ooh.
a special occasion between now and the Chuddies, or maybe on the Chuddies. I don't know. Rum chata and root beer, we gotta all come together. Maybe a whorehound.
Bad thing is, the bad thing is rum chata is not very strong.
Oh, then we'll go hard. We'll go hard.
Yeah, it's fucking delicious. I mean, you could always make your glass and put a shot of bourbon or a shot of rum and then the rum chata.
I still gotta walk around this
Get
bitch.
that
Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I'm not a great walk around drunk. I'm more of like a sit and chill drunk. Also,
I've got a bottle. I've got a bottle of toasted bourbon I haven't opened yet. I'm Yellowstone. Limestone Branch Distillery Company. Oh, I'm gonna be opening that up next week.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put a pin in that. Put a pin in that because we will announce that in a minute. I'm in a conundrum here, Chris and Jeff.
Tell me
Both of
your
you. I'm in a
overall
conundrum.
opinion.
I'm trying, man, because look back, the Burbs 8.5. The Changeling 7. I was a little low on the Changeling. I might have been a little bit of revenge. Castlevania 7.5. Ready or Not 7.5. Clearly, this is better than all those, including the Burbs. Oh, clearly this is better than the 8.5. Is it a 9? Because I need to get my database finished. I should have been working on that last week. I could have sat down during our normal 2 hours, 3 hours time.
I need
Just
to
work on
share
the
mine with
database. I
you
did
so
not
we can, build together
know
and see
them.
where we're at. Yeah.
Um, but I don't think I've been 9 or higher on much, even though I rate high. Like I've tried to keep those for top tier movies, and this is definitely one. Is it a 9? I'm gonna say because movie is This is not the entertainment value movie. This is the horror movie. This is nightmare fucking shit. This is scary and off-putting and emotional. So I'm going to go 9. I'm down 9.
Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. Dave, I didn't think you. Wow. Okay. Let's save our reactions for the end. Jeff, hit it, my friend.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's got several good things going for this movie. You got Fred Gwynn. I mean, his portrayal as Judd is just top tier awesome. I mean, you got that whole main commonality kind of thing going on. It's
Sometimes dead is better.
then you got the Ramones Pet Sematary, because it's in the book that he likes the Ramones, and
Oh
then
my
so they
God.
make a song for the movie. So you got that going for it as well. And it's Stephen King's in the movie. He's the priest uh, for the burial of his son. I give it an 8. I mean, I feel like it is really good though.
An 8 from Jeff.
Yeah.
Let me type that in. Wow. I'm kind of shocked, you guys. I'm really shocked and impressed that you've rated this high. I felt like I was rating it too high. And I kind of like was giving myself shit like, no, like you don't like this part of it, you don't like that part of it. Why are you it shouldn't be this high. And so I talked myself down a little bit. I watched it again today. Like, this is one of my favorite horror movies. Like, not up there with Dawn and Day of the Dead and Return of the Living Dead, stuff like that, RoboCop. But I mean, very close to them. Very close to them. And I kind of talked myself down today as I watched it. I'm like, this part is just kind of this and this acting, and I talked myself down a solid 1.5 as I watched it today. And you know what? That is literally because I thought you guys would rate it lower. I thought I was rating it too high, and then I was like, you know what? They're gonna make fun of me. Chris always rates too low, so I gotta, no, 8. I'm giving it an 8 also. There is so much in this movie that I love. I think Del Midkiff as Lewis Creed is fantastic. Fred Gwynn as Judd Crandall is fucking magic. Sometimes dead is better. Oh my God. That
Who
whole
would have thought,
character.
as goofy as he is on the Munsters, that he would turn this so well?
You love him so much, but he leads you down such dark paths and to such evilness. You don't know what to do with yourself. You know what?
We didn't even
No.
talk.
8.5. I'm going to raise my rating, mid-rating. 8.5. I can't help
We didn't even
it.
talk about the Mad TV sketch, Davy and Goliath,
I
Pet
don't even.
Cemetery.
What?
There's stop motion animated
I need to watch
Davy
it.
and Goliath
About it.
parody
I know Davy and
where
Goliath.
Goliath gets hit by the semi, and so there's Judd going, "Oh, we shouldn't bury him in the pet cemetery." And so what they do, they get taken to the pet cemetery and bury him, and then he keeps complaining, but he keeps helping the kid. What do you mean? Oh, that one was just funnier.
Oh,
It's
I've
great.
never seen
That
that
half
one.
point, Chris, that extra half point gets us to an average score of 8.5, which is higher than the Burbs at 7.8. The Changeling was 7.8, higher than Castlevania at 8.25. This might be our highest average of the season. This notebook doesn't go all the way back to episode 1 of the season.
Oh,
I can't stay froze.
You know I'm a boomer when we got a notebook and paper while I talk on the computer.
I mean, you've got Stephen King wrote the book. He wrote the screenplay and he starred in it. So I mean, what else can you rate it? It's got to be high rating.
Hold on, Chris froze.
On a whim, I want to just know. Just give me yeses or nos if you would recommend these movies. And these are Stephen King movies in chronological order. The dude ruled the 80s, but I'm starting with 76. Carrie, yes or no?
Oh yeah.
Or Chris?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't see because I'm on the list.
Oh.
So you gotta.
Oh yeah,
you
absolutely.
gotta give me a
absolutely. Big thumbs up.
Travolta in that?
All right. Salem's Lot.
Yes.
2-episode miniseries.
I've never watched the movie.
No.
I've read the book. I've never watched the movie.
Was it a miniseries?
Okay.
Miniseries.
It's something we may need to fix this year.
True.
Shining.
Oh yeah.
Audio cues, Chris. Give me audio cues.
Oh yes, sorry,
Creep Show.
sorry.
I know where.
Absolutely.
I know where we're
Creep
at
Show.
on Creep Show.
I fucking love Creep Show 1 and 2.
Creep Show. I've
Cujo.
seen the first
Absolutely,
one? Oh,
Cujo. Abso-fucking-lutely, Cujo.
I told you we had a pet cat named Cujo. That's how much we loved Cujo. Dead Zone. This. All back to the David
Walken?
Cronenberg.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yes.
Do you want me to pull
Martin
my
Sheen?
fucking DV down? Hold on.
So good.
A movie that I think is highly underrated because
You
I
mean
think it's much better
directed
than
by
people give it
David
credit for.
Cronenberg? Dead
Yeah.
Zone?
How about
Yes.
Christine? We're
Yes.
firmly in the 80s now.
Christine? Yes.
Yes.
Hell yeah, with Christine.
Yes.
Yes.
The original. I'm not talking about the 10 fucking shitty remakes. I'm talking about the original.
There's a
Children of the Corn.
remake?
Of Christine?
Children of the Corn, yeah.
Original
Children of the Corn.
There's original Children of the Corn. Is that a yes from you guys?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Firestarter. I know Chris said he had not watched
I feel like I've seen scenes of it, but I don't know.
Firestarter's so good.
George C. Scott's in it. I kind of already thumbs up, but I don't know.
I mean, is Firestarter in the Stranger Things universe? Because it's the Montauk Project. It is all that shit where they're giving people drugs for mind control purposes and to see if they develop powers. Yeah. Okay. Another anthology. I don't know if everyone is familiar with this one because it flies under the radar when you talk about Stephen King. Cat's Eye.
I don't know I don't know that one.
Oh.
I
Three
know of it.
connected horror stories connected by this stupid ass fucking cat. And I say that with all the love in my heart for the cat. I love cats. I love cats. I love dogs. I love animals.
Dave, Jeff, how do you feel about people that are like, you gotta love one or the other? You can't just be a cat man or a dog man. I'm like, I love fucking both of them. Why can't I love both of them?
I love both, and they can live together in harmony. It's sweet.
Yeah, I love cats and dogs.
That's like saying, do you like left titties or right titties better?
Amen. Do I love Susan or Snyder?
Yeah. Do you like porcupine girls or smoke girls?
That's the perv Chris smile.
Is that the one with Gary Busey in it?
Porcupine Girl? That's something I'm making.
Yes. No,
I'm sorry.
Silver Bullet.
Gary Busey. Silver Bullet also has Corey Haim, but not Corey Feldman.
I'm sorry.
I remember parts of it. I don't remember it that well. I just remember Gary Busey was in it.
I love Silver Bullet. I watched that a whole lot.
I love Silver Bullet. The kid in the fucking wheelchair. It's one of Stella's favorite werewolf movies.
It's a great werewolf
movie.
One
of my all-time favorite movies. Favorite movies, Maximum Overdrive. What do you think?
Oh,
Who made who? Who made you? Who made you? I don't know the words. Neither do you. Who made who?
It was that
It rocks.
AC/DC?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sink
Okay.
that pink.
Maybe
all of
more
pink.
horror adjacent than horror. What about Stand By Me? I think it's a great coming of age tale.
I liked that
love-
before I was into horror.
Yes. I still will sometimes, I'd guess about 5 times a year, I say, Chopper, sick balls. Well, it's so. Creep Show 2.
Absolutely. Garbage Bag River
Yes.
Monster is nightmares.
Yes.
Sure if I've seen that one.
I love the cigarette store Indian. The Blob in the Lake is fucking classic.
That's Garbage Bag River Monster.
So
its names are different, but its theme is the same. Its essence.
So now we go more action from a Stephen King than horror, but The Running Man. What do you think of The Running Man?
Love it.
That was good.
I love it. I love
it.
To me, it is the most dramatic difference between a book and the story, the movie.
I've never read the story
that I've ever read, and yet both are good. The book is very much more anti-authoritarian.
I would be into that.
We got to Pet Sematary. Clearly, where all three goes on Pet Sematary. Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
Love it. Love it.
I think I've seen that one.
Love it.
Graveyard Shift. Have you ever seen Graveyard Shift?
Is that the one with the rats?
Yes. In a very old textile mine with a serious rat infestation, deadly accidents start happening, but the corrupt foreman continues to put his workers in danger.
I don't know.
Stephen King actually worked at a textile mill. That's where a lot of it, like, he'll work at a place, and then
that's a movie.
Yes,
that story. Yeah.
Yes, it's a movie.
I didn't know that.
And the Mangler happened in the textile mills, so we're getting ready. We're coming up on the Mangler.
Okay.
The original TV miniseries.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Absolutely, I'm so in on that. I've been rewatching that. Put it aside to do a little Roger Corman. I've been watching that. Misery.
Oh my god. Oh my
Kathy
god.
Bates. Oh god.
Oh my god,
Okay.
Absolutely. 10 out of 10 out of 10. If I can rate that before we
a movie that I don't think a movie that I think nobody ever talks about. Sometimes they come back. What do you think?
Oh yes.
Oh my god! I didn't know anybody's ever watched that before. Yes. That is one of my favorite. That's one of my early
Sometimes they come back
favorites.
again.
Yes.
Was there like 3 movies?
I think
there were 3. There were at least 3.
Yeah. Sometimes they come back. So good.
Sometimes they come back again.
Yeah.
And it's like,
the sequel was not that bad. Usually sequels aren't great, but the sequel was not that bad.
I've not watched them in probably decades, but I loved them at the time.
No, they get forgotten about. But I mean, look at the classics we've mentioned, and then there's still that, which we're all still going.
Yeah.
Lawnmower Man.
Oh yes.
Which
Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man. Jeff Fahey plays the Lawnmower Man.
Jeff Fahey, so good.
I told Jackie, you need to watch this for nothing else, just to see how they depict what living in the internet would be.
Right.
Yeah.
The phone ringing at the end. That was so ominous to me as a child. It kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's gone, and to the miasmos, but then the phone starts ringing because he's in the fucking internet, and you're like,
yeah,
is the internet forever? Yeah. And then you're like, what does that mean? It's like, what? That was like the first cosmic horror thing I think I ever experienced, which is a little bit sad, maybe, but it is what it is,
I never associated that, Chris, with cosmic horror until you said that, but it makes perfect sense. Like, this is the inevitability of, oh my God. Yeah, that's great. Sleepwalkers. I watched this in the theaters.
I loved it as a kid, and I still kind of love it as a 94-year-old.
Jeff, what?
Why is Jeff laughing at my age?
Not for sure. Well, you look good
It
for
takes
94.
place.
Thank you, brother.
It takes place outside of Indiana or outside
Yeah.
of Maine. It does not take place in Maine. Sleepwalkers takes place in Indiana. So as a Hoosier, I feel like you have to
We're all Hoosier boys.
represent
You.
the dark half. No, I don't. I've not
Oh,
watched the dark half.
yes.
I'm a little
Dark
bit torn
half.
on this
I
one.
know what it is about. You
I've
what?
seen parts of it, but I'm not.
Okay.
It's
I
good.
don't.
Jeff, you
It's
watched it?
yeah, yeah. It's just like what Stephen King would be. It's about a writer who has
Yeah.
a dark
I
half.
don't,
I mean, it's.
yeah.
I mean,
That'd be
it
like
kind of
writing
just
a
explained
novel
itself,
that's called Quarter Pounder, and the other it's
right?
literally about you eating a quarter pounder, and you're like, oh, scary. So much
It is
The
good
lettuce
last
and
though.
one.
mustard and ketchup. Wow.
Good acting. Yeah,
I'm gonna say
good
this is the
actors.
last one, and this is the first one where I'm a little on the movie. Needful Things.
Never watched it. Never read it.
Oh,
I don't know about
Needful
it.
Thing.
The book is
Yes.
so good, and I think that's where
I don't
Needful
know.
Things gets me. I think people who say, "Oh, the book is better," are fart sniffers. Um,
Fair.
in this case, I'm breathing deep, boys, because it's the book is so good, and the movie, it's concepts that the movie can't do justice.
What about
Understood.
Storm of the Century, man? Storm of the Century
Uh,
as a
there's
miniseries.
more. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, there's more. I'm
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
stopping at
okay.
25.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Oh,
stopping at 25 here.
Dreamcatcher.
We picked the
Oh,
first.
yeah.
We could have a whole movie.
It's the
Oh,
first.
Or
yeah.
a movie? What is this? A podcast.
It's the first 25 episodes. The first 25 movies and TV series of Stephen King adaptations, and we
Yeah.
But most of them were
by my
positive.
count, we had
Yeah.
0.
Was
I
any of
mean,
them negative? Other than like one or two of us hadn't watched, which was rare.
right.
They
Yeah,
weren't.
There's a lot of the earlier ones were, I mean, I haven't read the books, a lot of them. So, I mean, I don't know how faithful
Right.
they are to it, but they were so good. You get into some of the other ones like Desperation, like the book was so much better than the TV movie. It was crap. Even though Ron Perlman was in it, I was like, oh, I love Ron Perlman, but the TV movie was
It
not
really
good.
comes down to
yeah,
minutia, kind of like it's like Pet Cemetery. It's like they left this
Yeah,
one part out that would have fleshed out so much more of it, and
yeah.
but at the same time, like
So, it wasn't
I,
bad.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it's like that one part would have fleshed it out more, but it's like it doesn't matter because it was still good.
yeah, that explains Pet
there's a
Cemetery
time
to a
constraint
T.
with the movie. If they were making the 1989 Pet Sematary today, and still making the same movie, and like not making it by today's standards, but the only thing they changed is that in 1989, an hour and a half, that was your cap for a movie.
Yeah,
So you couldn't flesh out everything. Stephen King is very
Right.
wordy.
Yes.
yeah,
Um,
There's so
so
much going on.
and one thing I always loved about Stephen King stuff is you get the inner dialogues of good guys
yeah,
and bad guys. Like you get this in minor characters and major characters. Like you get these inner dialogues, and I love that. It's one of
yeah.
my favorite things about the Dexter series is when
It,
you get
it,
his inner monologue.
and it's hard to
So
Yeah.
put into uh, a movie or a TV show kind of medium. Like you lose that, and it feels kind of forced when you get that narrative up top of this thing, and with a constrained, a contained kind of thing like Pet Cemetery, you don't get that. So you got to make concessions, I guess, but better or worse, I guess. You got to keep it under a certain time frame. And as much as I would love for them to include Jug Crandall's wife, maybe they couldn't at the time. I don't know. Like maybe like if the three of us listen, Shudder, if you're into throwing some contracts around, you want three cool guys. to give you a Pet
If
Sematary
you
that's
want
pretty
to,
hot. Jeff
and it
knows.
involves the
Jeff
night
knows three
breed,
guys.
Yeah.
and Jeff actually is college educated on writing scripts, so
Oh yeah.
he's taking the college education.
Stay tuned,
We don't. Yeah.
because next
If
week,
you are Gunner, if you're thinking about a night breed Pet Cemetery movie, let us know.
listen.
Combine
Next
both
week,
together.
yeah, next week we're coming back. We're coming back with the show. And we're gonna we're not relaunching Horror House. It's gonna be the three of us, as it has been for a hot minute. But we're gonna kind of say next week is our new jumping off point. We're gonna do our Roger Corman episode, of course. But at the beginning, we're gonna go a little bit deeper into who's Chris, who's Jeff, and who's Dave over there. What is our favorite movies of horror? What brings us to horror? What do we love? We're gonna do that next week. So I'm sorry if I punch my microphone.
So total
my
surprise
knuckles.
to Jeff and I. Total surprise to Jeff and I. We're gonna be peeling back the curtain a little bit.
It's not a surprise if you were here for the last couple weeks, or maybe last week.
I drink when we do this.
Do you look at? Can you look at my eyes? Can you see my teeth through my eyes, Dave? We're going to do that next week because I think we were supposed to do that this week, and I don't know.
Okay, maybe I do remember about Jeff, not about like everyone.
Yeah, it's just a reintroduction.
Supposed to be a refresher.
Yeah, exactly. But really, it's more aimed at Mr. Jeff, our new brother in the horror house. He's haunting this bitch with us and giving you guys the opinions on the horror that you need or need not be watching. Tell him, Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff, give us both a fist bump. Give us both a fist bump.
I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it. It felt perfect to me.
My box is so small.
It's as big as everybody's, I think, maybe.
It is.
I'm doing my best. Don't give me a complex.
It's great. Everyone's the same size.
We'll be back here in 1 week to
talk. Sliding out the side of my box.
How much would it freak you guys out if we were like in different order 1 week? Because I don't. It's so much weird work that doesn't make sense to the world. I like my corner, man.
Yeah.
It's perfect for me. Jeff, you don't have so much a corner, but you got a bottom, which is rad. Yeah. Which we kind of have a half a bottom, but you got like full bottom. That's weird. I don't know.
I think the box fits. You got big opinions, and it's just me in the center.
My brother. God damn, that's great. He's calling us fat,
Chris.
They're like,
no, that makes so much sense.
I'm the cheerleader. Just this is great.
Yes. That's great. He's like, I'm just fucking working my way in from you two assholes. And it just makes sense. It just makes sense. So join us next week, everybody. Dave, tell them what we're doing for next week, if they don't know by now.
With the passing of the great Roger Corman, we're doing what we should have done a while back. We talked about this several times. We talked about the man.
The myth, the legend.
Roger Corman. Who Jackie and I've already been on the Roger Corman kick. There is no way I'm going to be able to watch every Roger Corman movie.
There's absolutely no way. No way.
Oh,
we couldn't watch a decade of his stuff for an episode.
For what he directed and produced?
Just for his producer credits, there's no way we could do that. No. So we're just going to do the best we can. We're not consulting with each other. We're just kind of going in ourselves into his you know, body of work. And
what was he all about? What did he do? What did he produce? Here's
yeah,
a hint.
everything.
Producer,
Really fuck you wanted to.
491 producer credits.
You can't talk about that in one episode, but we're gonna. Hold on.
We're gonna make it fit.
We're gonna. Absolutely.
Directed.
That's not me farting.
56
That's
movies.
this fucking chair.
Directed what?
Sorry.
Directed 56 movies. Acted in 45 movies.
Oh.
With one coming still pending acting role. Oh, there's that.
He's coming on what?
And
Drunk Chris is a
he's
troll.
still,
I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry.
he has 2 upcoming producers.
It's so fun.
It is. We all need a button just to hit.
Yeah, if we could all control it, it'd be a different story. Yes, Dave.
Chris, can you step out into the road with me for just a minute? God, that lasts so long. I didn't.
I really kind of love it. So long ago, we did the They Live episode, and I feel like this is comparative. But at one point, me and Dave were like, or at least me, I was like, do we have to stand out in the middle of the road and fight each other to prove we're friends? And Dave's like, I don't know, maybe. And then here we are. So if
How do you like this? This is gonna make the Facebook reels.
Oh no, not with the fucking spiky bald ass fucking Chris on the other side.
The Maximum Overdrive truck behind you.
Who made who?
Who made you? You made
Emilio Estevez.
poo.
How did we?
You
Oh my god!
And made this into poo.
Here's my promise, Whorehouse fans. We are going to be talking about Maximum Overdrive. I'm going to make a whole remake of that album, of the original songs. Who Made Who, Sink the Pink, maybe 1 or 2 more. And I'm going to have Jeff and Dave help me sing them. And they're going to be the backgrounds for that episode. It's going to be a little bit off in the distance, but they're going to be fucking rad. And people will love Garbage Day! Hey, I wouldn't call it that. Jesus.
That's how I sing. Statement based on my sing.
Dude, anybody can sing background vocals. We'll figure it out. This was a fun episode. We're finally back. I think that's my wife in the background.
Yeah, but I said there's something really spooky in behind you.
Is that a Wendigo? Is that a Norm McRandall? But let's get out of here. We will be back for next week. We're gonna don't get so close. Our Roger Corman episode next week. We've got so much to watch and experience and try to talk about. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We'll do our best. Final words, Dave.
Great movie. Watch it. And don't do that.
God,
bury your dead.
That fucking come Peterbilt, whatever's behind you, is so frightening. Jeff.
Yeah, definitely. Just don't bury your kids behind the Pet Sematary because it was nothing really to do with the Pet Sematary.
Ground is sour. And there's Zelda to send everybody off. Here's our socials one last time, and we are out of here for another week in the horror house. Fellas, Scotty says, Jesus, man. Goodbye. Until next week. Roger Corman week next week, yo. Bullets for Corman. Bullets for Corman. Shoot him.
Bullets for Corman.
I need the sound.
Pew pew. Oh, shotgun blast. There you go.
There we go.